Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Big day in the Port of Baltimore and a very big day for the ILA. While this is, you have a 700-foot, 50-foot deep channel here in the Port of Baltimore today, they over-delivered a little bit. We were working a few weeks ago. The Army Corps of Engineers and the Coast Guard made it possible to get every ship that we could handle in here over the last several weeks. So thank you very much for that. While many of us depended on, during COVID-19, depended on the ILA to unload ships and get goods to market, the ILA here in Baltimore was dependent on others this time. I'd like to thank all the Salvers, Don John Marine, Resolve, Sanska, the Dredging Contractors of America, especially Cashman Dredging. It wasn't only the steel that they were taking out of that river. Those good old Irish boys were digging that debris off the bottom so we could get the 50-foot draft to get these ships in here. So that's a big deal. And for the Unified Command, thank you so much. We were dependent on you guys. Without you, it wouldn't have happened. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our International President, Harold Daggett, Executive Vice President, Dennis Daggett, CEO of United States Maritime Alliance, Dave Adam, Executive Vice President of USMX, Paul DeMaria. They were the first ones to provide relief to the longshoremen within a week from the bridge collapse. Then, the week after the bridge collapsed, we had a meeting right down here in Shed 4. The governor came, several other elected officials, and the governor made a commitment to me and to the men and women of the ILA that he was going to take care of us. He had our backs, and sir, your word is good, because that's what you did. A lot of times in this industry, it's a tough industry, it's very competitive. We were a wounded port. And believe me, as soon as that bridge fell down, other ports were looking to take our cargo. I know the main focus of the federal government was not to screw up the supply chain. We couldn't have that. The whole country depends on that. But if this channel wouldn't have got opened in the speed it did, we would have took a very big loss of cargo to other ports. And that could have been devastating to the men and women of the ILA. I also want to thank Senate President Bill Ferguson, Senator Johnny Ray Salling for getting behind the Port Act. You guys pushed that through. Delegate Luke Clippinger and the House of Representatives, you guys made that happen. And without that, a lot of the ILA members wouldn't have been able to stay. That's bipartisan. This country ought to take a little bit of a lead on that and look at that a little bit closer. Secretary Wu and your staff at the Maryland Department of Labor, you've been with us every step of the way. Thank you so, so much. Executive Director Jonathan Daniels and your staff at the Maryland Port Administration. I must have called you every day for like 60 days straight, several times a day, and you always picked up. And if you couldn't, you sent me a text and got back to me. So you kept my nerves down a little bit, and I appreciate that. Secretary Wiedefeld, thank you as well. I don't know any Secretary of Transportation for any state would want to deal with this thing. The Baltimore Community Foundation. They stepped up to the plate and helped the ILA members with a grant, and it will not be forgotten. I know some of those folks are here today, and thank you so, so much for the Ravens and the Orioles donating money to the Baltimore Community Foundation. It's you know, most people wouldn't have received the relief that the ILA members did here in the Port of Baltimore. If you were in another job, the only thing you would have received is unemployment. Well, a longshoreman makes a good living. And unemployment wouldn't have cut it to put food on the table and pay the bills for some of these folks. If these people wouldn't have stepped up, we'd have had a hard road to toe. Luckily, we had that help. And believe me, all the members of the ILA appreciate it. And lastly, I got to thank my partner, Atlantic Coast District, Mike Coe, Vice President Mike Coe, Vice President of Local 333. We were on this thing every day for 2 months, from Annapolis to Baltimore and everywhere in between. My staff at Local 333, the local leadership of Local 953, and the local leadership of ILA Local 1429, they did a tremendous job for the members, and that's what matters to us the most. And to all the members of the ILA, all 3 locals, the port's back open for business. Let's go. Let's get the cargo in here, and let's put this thing in the past, and let's move forward. Thank you.